The date is the 25th of August 2021. I'm beside the Wayfarers Walk in Hampshire, and I'm going to record on this video the length of a visitor's signalling to me that he was present. This, not crop circle, but made in a similar way, designs in the crop, were made something over a week ago, and I'm going to walk the length of them, which is going to take a while, probably 10 minutes at least. But here we are at the starting point, and we'll see as we go on many features which are common to the Wiltshire crop circles. This is going to be something of a bumpy walk, so the camera is going to jog about a bit. Just bear with me. We see the flattened grass and crop. The telltale circular motion as exhaust gases and propulsion fuels come down onto the crop, flattening it in a circular motion, but at the eye of the circle often the crop is left relatively untouched. This whole flattening has a length of some 1,000 yards, being the length of this field, and in fact at the far end, having paralleled the Wayfarers Walk, which is just there, which is where I have been most days for the past 18 months, and therefore was quite easy to trail and to ensure my attention was attracted by this extraordinary and elaborate show. These are not crop circles as such, the sort that we used to in Wiltshire, in the Highclere area, where intricate patterns are carved into the crop. This is for the purpose of attracting attention of attracting my attention as I passed close by on my almost daily walk. We'll look back to where we started, which was by the trees. The Wayfarer's Walk is just beyond the ferns, and the attraction in the crop continues. It's worth noting that when we get near an overhanging tree, the craft strays further out into the crop, causing more damage, so as not to get entangled in the branches of the trees. Sure that the length of video available in the camera at present is going to last until we get to the end of the spectacle, which is in fact up by those trees in the far distance, which are somewhat further, probably twice as far as those which we left at the start. Here there are two impressions in the crop. This is the wider one. Here is a narrow one. There is a suggestion that a large craft made the wider trail, a much smaller craft made the smaller trail. Looking in close up at the damaged crop, see how it's been bent over. But has the same appearance so far as the actual heads are concerned as the untouched crop in the field. Something of a wind sprung up at the moment, which is quite common here, because we're at one of the high points before the downs drop away to the Kennet Valley below. Good example of swirl here. not made with a man and a plank on ropes. There's been no publicity whatsoever that I'm aware of this, what would be seen to be, no doubt, wind damage in the crop, which is not the case, as can be seen from the shelter given by the extensive woodland alongside it. You can see here how the crop has been pushed to one side. We've got the flattened crop and we've got the outlying crop which has just been caught in the draft. As a path is carved through. Neighbouring fields are being harvested at present, and it's probably not going to be very long before this field is harvested and physical evidence of this damage will disappear. But for magnetic field followers, the craft and its engines is picked up on beryllium, on burnt fat, being the frying of animals, insects, etc., as its exhaust gases reach the ground, and titanium, which is the metal from which it's made. Here we've got a good example of an overhanging tree. So the craft has taken a wide sweep before coming back in. Unfortunately, this camera doesn't have a stabilizer, and therefore it's very likely that anyone viewing this video will start to feel seasick. There's also evidence that a smaller craft paralleled the route of the larger one, causing more minor damage, such as we see in these broken stems, and as is found using those magnetic fields to detect it. This has been an entry or exit point for one or other of the crafts. The damage continues. This is how far we've got since We left the trees at the far end of the field, and here, because of the overhanging branches, is the sweeping out from under them and further into the corn. I think there has been an attempt to do as little damage as possible, while at the same time making an obvious track to be seen. Now the damage becomes more intermittent, almost a hopping action. These smaller trails, which give the appearance of being created by animals, also respond to those three fields. Now the damage becomes more pronounced again. A slimmer trail here, but an obvious one. Coming to an overhanging tree here. Let's see what happens to the trail. Under the tree now, trail not pushing far out into the field and giving the impression of having been made by a much smaller craft which didn't have the problem of the overhanging tree. I see the video is now being recorded for 20 minutes and I think we'll probably end shortly. This not being a true video camera, but a still camera with a video function, Kodak Easy Share Z710 camera, which has been absolutely excellent for recording this and other amazing visitor scenes. Take a sweep around in case it's the last opportunity. If the video should terminate itself, let me record that this is not taken for the purposes of any publicity, but as a record of a truly amazing spectacle. I will put it on YouTube, but with a setting which is not for public consumption, but only for invitees. Now these, what look like animal trails, are also that small torpedo-like craft. Now there are very few areas of crop damage by here, but at the far end of the field there is actually substantial damage, as the farmer would call it, signposting, as I might call it, as the one being signposted. I rather more kindly disposed towards it. I think it's going to take me a while, so I'm going to close the video now after almost 24 minutes and possibly start up again when I reach that further